Good morning, South Florida, and welcome to this week's edition of the Frost Jazz Hour right here on WDNA's 88.9 FM, the home of Miami's finest jazz. I'm your host, Marcello Corelli, and we've had a week in between live shows. Last week we had a nice rerun by Extensions, and 2 weeks ago, a few of my good friends played with us. That was Aaron Basundial and Ben Taylor and their group. But this week we're joined by two incredible fine young musicians that are graduates of the Frost School of Music. They studied under the teachings of John Hart, who was here on this show a few weeks ago. And they've got a great show planned for us with some originals and arrangements. And I just want to remind our viewers that you can go back and watch all of these archived performances on WDNA.org. I don't really know a radio show that does this. I mean, they're very high quality, and the audio quality is really great, and different angles. So just want to remind our viewers that you don't have to just listen in live. You can also go back and watch some old performances on the Frost Jazz Hour. Yes, but you have to go to WDNA.org first. So, without further ado, I'll say no more and leave it to these fine young musicians. Here's Diego Melgar and Brian Dubrow. That was killing. Yeah, I just want to say something in between because I'm sure that tune was one that many of our viewers recognize. That was Milestones, the new one. There's an older version of that. I think they were both written by Miles, though, I believe. I don't know, but I'll have to see. But so the next tune that these guys are going to be playing, I believe, is a original by Brian. This one's entitled New Leaf. And I wish I could be playing with you guys. You sound great. So take it away with New Leaf. That's a great tune. If you're just tuning in, we're here at the Frost Jazz Hour right here on WDNA's 88.9 FM, the home of Miami's finest jazz. You're listening to Brian Dubrow and Diego Melgar, this incredible duo of fine young guitarists out of the Frost School of Music who are thriving on the Miami jazz scene, even though these are some very tough times we're living in. But I'm here first. I want to talk to you, Brian. So it's good to have you on the show, man. Yeah, man. Cool. So you've been on this show a few times.
I have, yeah.
And we've played together on this show as well.
That's
with
right.
Will Wolfeck's group, I believe.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, I mean, you do a lot of writing, and you seem to have a lot of influences in many different genres of music, and you're also a multi-instrumentalist, or at least you started off playing a different instrument. So I wanted to ask you, are you still playing other instruments, and how has playing a variety of instruments and different genres of music kind of given you a different perspective on playing jazz and music in general?
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. I started playing, the first instruments I started playing, I really don't play anymore. I played like baritone and tuba for a year because the school band needed tuba, and French horn for a year and a half because they needed French horn. And then I got into the jazz band on guitar, and I just stopped playing all of the wind instruments because I'm done playing instruments where I need to use my mouth. Yeah, and then it was pretty much just guitar for a long time. I was at UM just playing guitar, played this guitar every day. And since graduating, I've gotten into, just some other string instruments. So I've been playing mandolin, banjo, getting into fiddle, getting back into playing some bass. I think it definitely informs my playing, and just hearing all these different sounds that you can get and how to apply them to each other, to the different instruments.
Nice. Yeah, that's really interesting. Because there are a lot of people out there that play only one thing and want to stick to it, but sometimes it's good to go outside and learn different things because it helps your writing. I'm sure it's helped your writing and kind of, I don't know, at least when I write, when I go to a different instrument, it gives me a way different perspective. And just kind of knowing what all the other roles are in the band and being able to play some of those roles at the same time as your primary instrument is cool. But yeah, so you're from outside of Washington, D.C.?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
And do you go back and forth between here and there, or is it kind of just down here, you're mainly down here?
I go there every once in a while to visit family, but I'm down here. That's where
Cool.
I am.
Wanted to ask you what you've been up to over these crazy 6-7 months of this pandemic that's been ongoing, and is there anything? Have you kind of changed your perspective on life? Any new kind of visions and projects in the works, kind of thing?
Well, also I've definitely spent more time with the different instruments, getting it's interesting not having work on guitar as much. Spent a lot of time, especially at the beginning of the pandemic. I didn't play a lot of guitar. I played a lot of mandolin and banjo and the fiddle. I actually, for a couple of months, I played a lot of acoustic guitar, but I didn't touch an electric guitar for months. But it's been really refreshing to have it back in my hands, and sometimes it's really great to take a break. You don't always get to.
Yeah, sometimes taking a break can help you. It's like when you come back after taking a long break, sometimes it can feel easier than you'd expect it to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're not thinking about all this different stuff you have to do on your instrument sometimes.
It's not as much baggage, not as much. Got to do this exactly the way I've been practicing it.
Yeah, man. Also, since it's the Frost Jazz Hour, I wanted to ask, what was your favorite part, kind of being at the Frost School of Music, and how did the program help prepare you for the real world and the music industry?
I'd say a highlight. Well, I mean, there were many highlights, but definitely studying with John Hart was was big. I think that was probably one of the best things that I was able to do, was just take weekly lessons with him. He's got a lot to teach.
Sure.
And then arranging with Gary Lindsay was really great. And I haven't been doing a whole lot of big band arranging, but the things that I learned in his classes have taught me a lot with the types of writing that I do now. It's translated, and just like the practical things and the just the techniques, but also some of the just the philosophy towards writing.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I've gotten a lot out of the arranging and kind of theory classes, especially not being strong in it coming in. So I've also heard that you are on the faculty with the CAP program, the Community Arts Program.
Yes.
If you're still doing it, are they still doing online lessons and things throughout this pandemic?
Yeah, it was. It's been. I really love teaching there. I've been there for a couple of years, and back in, March, April, it was pretty sudden. We had to transition to teaching online, and then obviously going through the summer, not really knowing what would happen. Right now, we're teaching online, and we're actually in the guitar studio. It's definitely gone up. We have more students than ever, or at least since I've been there. I think it's similar for the different instruments. So it's going strong, and we'll be online for at least the rest of the year, and then we'll see
Cool.
what we can do.
That's really positive to be getting more students out of something you wouldn't expect to flourish online, but it really has, it seems. That's cool, man.
It's been really great.
Any kind of recordings or gigs to look out for? I know there's not a ton of them right now, but anything to look out for you?
No, not really. We'll just stay tuned for when I have something to announce. I'll make it known. But
All right.
I have my website, so every once in a while I'll put stuff on there. It's briandubrow.com.
All right. Well, make sure to go to briandubrow.com, check out some of his stuff. But thanks for being with us. Thanks for talking to me. And
Pleasure.
we're going to continue with some more music as we go to the halfway point. I believe this next tune is called Green Light on the Southern. And
Yes.
who wrote that one?
This is a song by Norman Blake. It's kind of a country song that we're going to play.
Cool. Take it away. Beautiful, beautiful. That was Green Light on the Southern. So just want to remind, before we go to the halfway point, I want to remind our viewers that coming up next Thursday at the same time at 11 a.m., we'll have the Stamps Trio featuring its distinguished mentor, Martin Bejarano. And I'll actually be playing drums as well as hosting that show, so be sure to tune in then. And the week after that, we will have our esteemed Dean of the Frost School of Music, Mr. Shelley Berg, with us. So we'll be asking him some questions and sort of maybe I'll have some updates on what the Frost School of Music's been doing during this pandemic. I think they've been doing a fabulous job. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with some more music and interviewing Diego Melgar. So stay tuned here on 88.9 FM. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Frost Jazz Hour right here on WDNA's 88.9 FM, the home of Miami's finest jazz. We're here with Brian Dubrow and Diego Melgar and their duo, both some amazing guitar players that graduated from the Frost School of Music under the teachings of John Hart. So we're going to, before we continue with some more music, I want to ask a couple questions to my friend Diego. So Diego, thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So I was going to ask you, I know you do a lot of writing as well as playing. I was wondering, as of right now, do you enjoy playing or digging into composition more?
Oh, I mean, both. You need both. I can't live without either one. Yeah, they're just two different beasts. Performance is this very human connection, like a very immediate, like, here's a room and here's an atmosphere that needs to be set. Whereas composition is like, the fun part is you can take your time with it. You can be inspired and write something in a few minutes, but also it's very fun to chisel away at a composition for step away for a week, come back to it. I love that. So
yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I do the same thing when I write. Sometimes it's good to take a break, but the inspiration's kind of always there, and especially because we're always playing and everything. Yeah. So who would you say your biggest inspirations right now are, on your instrument and as a writer?
On the guitar, easily Grant Green, Rainier Boss,
the man,
are the two people I think are doing crazy stuff right now. Well, Grant Green died, unfortunately. But Rainier Boss is doing some crazy stuff right now, and Grant Green continues from the grave to do crazy stuff. Compositionally, John Cage has opened up a whole world of like modern composers that I was unaware of before this summer. So learning about him and his circle has been incredible. I think electronic music is a big influence on me too. So DJ Rashad, RP Boo are very influential people for me. And here in town, I would say Tim Watson is the guy to look out for. I really I take a lot from him because I think he's on like the future. You know, he's like tapping into the future source. I don't know how we got that faucet. You know.
Yeah, Tim's a great player, and so are you. But I mean, I play a lot with Tim, and he's going to be on the show next week. So
that's right. Yeah.
Be ready for that.
I forget.
I saw you also listen a lot to, or you listen to some film scoring composers like Toru Takamitsu.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw that in your bio. He's a pretty amazing composer.
That's some deep digging. Yeah, Toru Takamitsu. I actually don't. I know he did some film scoring because he did I'm forgetting the director's name, but he did a big war movie, I think. But I know him more just from his own compositions, and he has a series of essays that are all pretty like worth reading if you care about music. They're all very.
Dang.
The connection to silence that he has is one that I'm very envious of. I still get a little spooked by silence now and then, but he has that beautiful relationship with it. That trying to get on that level.
Dang, his stuff is really nice. I'm sure, I got to do some digging with his stuff. You have a group that you're in called Butterfly Snapple. I was going to ask you a little bit about that group. How did that group come to be and come to light? Was it kind of a collaborative initiative to bring this group, or was it?
Hundo P, yeah. We when we were students at the Frost School of Music, the future is here.
That's right.
We would well, this might be taboo to say on here, but we would get tired of our jazz studies, or we would feel frustrated with our time there, and our release was playing hip hop music on the side, and it was almost a weird form of rebellion of we all loved this music and we kind of wanted to be like, well, schools like this, we're like that. So we started playing hip hop covers and gigging around town, and it's kind of taken off well. We played at 3 Points last year, opening up for this band Krongbin. We're going to be playing at the upcoming 3 Points again, and we've been on hiatus just because of COVID. Everyone was scattered throughout, but slowly we're all coming back into town, and it feels nice to get that ball rolling again.
Sure. Yeah, that's really exciting. Do you guys have you guys recorded anything that's not released yet?
We have some unreleased stuff that will never see the light of day, I think. We're probably just going to record again, hopefully in the near future.
Cool. And there's something out right now that you guys recorded, right, in 2019?
Yeah, we recorded an EP called Where Do You Go, which I think is a nice little capsule of that moment. At that time we were gigging, once or twice a week with just that group, and our music is very improvisational. So we were getting into a very connected place where, telepathic stuff starts happening. You just know where each other, is thinking. So I think that like recording is a beautiful like moment of that, which is crazy to think about now that there are no gigs.
I know. It's just amazing how all of a sudden things just shut down, and everything. It seemed like we were all living our best lives, and everything was on a high point. And
I was thriving, but
we
that's
were
all,
thriving.
But that's all a revisionist history. I was living my best life until COVID, and it's only COVID's fault.
Yeah.
I was gonna go to the gym that same week actually, but.
Oh man! So one more thing, just to ask you, in these last 6 to 7 months of craziness, like have you had any kind of new visions as an artist? Like, have you changed? Like, have your influences changed? Like, has your playing? You think your playing has changed as far as inspiration is concerned?
All of the above. I think for the first 2 or 3 months of quarantine, I did nothing out of just like depression and like not knowing if the world was going to collapse, you know? But then as you adjust, I mentioned John Cage. He gave me a lot of inspiration to like continue writing and to continue caring about music. And I've taken on production. I mentioned electronic dance music that I really love, footwork. So I've been learning how to produce that and, you know, studying that pretty rigorously. I've also just decided that I've always cared about visuals as a visual artist, and I was kind of putting that to the side for music's sake. And I kind of realized, like, why? Like, I think the thing COVID has taught us all is that we really don't know when anything can happen. It's something we all kind of knew, but on a global scale. So I think the thing I'm feeling, and I feel like a lot of us are, is just like, oh, there's no time. Like, they're truly like, we don't know anything, so we should just like go fully for the thing we're trying to do. And I think that's the mentality I've been getting more into, of really being like, oh wait, I know what I want to do. It's a lot of work, it's overwhelming, but you just chip away at it day by day, you know?
Awesome. That's a really great mentality to have, man. People should take a page out of your book. That's pretty awesome. Well, thanks for talking to me, man, and being with us. And
can I plug something real quick?
Yeah,
Is that
Plug,
kosher?
please.
Every Wednesday I play with my trio at a restaurant called Melinda's in downtown. We've been playing there steadily for the past 2 months or now, I think. And it's a nice, you know, COVID safe. They've got plexiglass up between the booths. Everyone's wearing masks. It felt spooky to start playing live music again, but it also was very cathartic to make music with people I love and to share it with like the community. You
Sure.
know?
Well, yeah, make sure to come out to that. Where is this specifically?
This is Melinda's in downtown every Wednesday from 7 to 11.
All right. Every Wednesday from 7 to 11. Be sure to go to Melinda's and hear Diego's group. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks again for being with us. And let's see what the next tune these guys are going to be playing, I believe, is a Clifford Brown tune called Parisian Thoroughfare. That's off of a record he did with the great Max Roach. So let's do it. Let's hear some Parisian Thoroughfare. Yeah, so that was Parisian Thoroughfare by Clifford Brown, but done a really nice arrangement by Diego Melgar and Brian Dubrow. Sounded great. So I think we have one more tune for you. It's already time flies, and we're having fun here. So this last tune is called Questar, and it's a Keith Jarrett tune. So looking forward to hearing that. So just before they start playing, I just want to remind our viewers that coming up next week, Thursday, November 5th at 11 a.m., we will have the Stamps Trio featuring Martin Bejarano right here on WDNA's 88.9 FM, the home of Miami's finest jazz, of course. So tune in for that. And yeah, without further ado, here's the final tune. These guys are going to play us into the top of the hour.